Hi everybody. In this module, we are going to look at common digital performance metrics and look at all of this leading up to return on advertising spend, which is ROAS or customer lifetime value. All right, so let's start. As soon as you finish designing a campaign, publish this after a couple of hours or max one working day, both Google and the Facebook Instagram group would have approved your ads and your ads will start running. As soon as your ads start running, you will start getting all of this data. And depending on the type of campaign that you are running, you will have different things, but three things that you will always get in every campaign is impressions, reach, and frequency. So let's look at these three parameters. Impressions is the number of times that your ad showed. Reach is the number of people that it showed to. So let's take an example. What I'm going to do is I am going to start a website that I go to usually, which is Economic Times. Now, when I click on Economic Times and go to the website, I will see a few ads. Let's see what we see. So we just wait for Economic Times to open out and see what's happening here. Okay, as the ads are getting loaded, we just wait for them. I will also open. So see here, Volkswagen Tiguan. Okay, I've got a left banner ad, a sidebar ad. I've got this 1 year of hustle, okay, first anniversary edition. I've got this ad. So what is this now? One person is seeing the ad and I'm seeing this ad in three times. Okay, that is impression. So reach is one. Why? Because it is me who is seeing this ad. Now let me show you some more stuff. Supposing I look at this first article, I open the second article in my in a new browser. Let's see what happens. So I'm reading the second article now, a second page on this. Again, I'm seeing a Volkswagen ad. Again, I'm seeing a Volkswagen ad on the left sidebar, the right sidebar, and here. So how many impressions that I have seen? One, two, three. I go to the second screen. Again, I see 4, 5, and 6. If I scroll down the page and I see something more. So Ontario teachers, 1 impression. Volkswagen, 6 impressions right now. This is some real estate company. There I'm seeing something. Then I'm seeing a 2 crore life cover by an insurance company. Fine. Again, a life cover. Tube Buddy. Now, where are all these ads coming from? These ads are coming from Google. And how has Google got these ads into me? I'm basically seeing these ads because this is connected to my past browsing behavior. TubeBuddy is the SEO equivalent and helps me figure out what kind of content to create on YouTube. And I would have visited some car sites in the past, and therefore Volkswagen is remarketing to me. How is this remarketing happening? Because the Facebook pixel and the Google tag, which are loaded onto the sites that I have visited, they have captured my information. And these companies, because I have visited a few sites, have profiled me, and therefore other car companies are now running ads to me. Insurance companies are running ads to me. YouTube tools are running their ads to me. Real estate companies are running their ads to me. All of this counts as an impression. So what is okay? Yeah, we saw 6 impressions of the Volkswagen ad, and however, reach was only one because reach is being measured by either the server or the Gmail ID that I have used to log in into the Chrome tab. So this particular set of data is about my campaign performance for one day. I'm spending about 450 rupees. And as soon as you start running a campaign, within a minute, you will start looking at this. You will start getting this data. So we've got impressions and we have got reach. Now, we have still not clicked on the ad. So the third parameter that is important is frequency. What is frequency? Average number of times the ad showed to each person. Now this is an average number. What is the formula? Impressions divided by reach. In this particular example, 1250 divided by 1000 is the reach. Let me just use a pointer to make it easier to observe. So this is where we are. So 1250 divided by 1000 is 1.25. That is the frequency. And as of this point in time, I have not yet clicked on the ad. So one question to ask everybody, what you can do is pause the video and answer is we saw 6 impressions of the Volkswagen ad. We saw a real estate ad. We saw an ad on insurance. Was the advertiser being charged for it? All right, question to everybody. Think of the answer, pause the video, just make a note of the answer. I'll ask you a second question. The second question that I'm going to ask you is, let's say I open Google, I open Google again, and here now I, let's say, do a search on laptops on Flipkart. Now see what I'm getting. I am getting an ad of Dell. I am getting an ad of Flipkart. I'm getting an ad of Lenovo. Question to everybody: is Lenovo being charged for this ad? Is Flipkart being charged for this ad? Is Dell being charged for this ad? Well, take a pause and think of the answer. All right, now let's look at this. Is Lenovo being charged for this ad? As of now, no. Why? Because this on Google search is what is called a cost per click campaign or a pay per click campaign. Whereas when I was seeing this ad of Volkswagen on the left and right sidebar and on the top, this is what is called a cost per mile or a CPM campaign or a display campaign. CPM stands for, M stands for mile. Mile is the Latin word for 1000 impressions. Amazon has just earned one impression, okay, paid for one impression. So yes, to answer the question, what I'm seeing on economictimes.com is a CPM campaign by Volkswagen, and yes, Volkswagen is being charged over here. Here on the other hand, what you're seeing is a CPC campaign, and cost per click campaigns are charged only when I click. So right now I'm only seeing an impression of the ad, and if I now click and okay and or let's say I click here on the Flipkart ad, that is when Flipkart is paying whatever it had bid for as far as the keyword was concerned. What was the keyword that we used? Laptops on Flipkart. So this is the difference between CPC PPC campaigns and CPM campaigns. um, Facebook, Insta all run CPM campaigns. YouTube runs CPM campaigns. Google search is the only search engine which runs pay per click or cost per click campaigns. Coming back, okay, so that answers our question as to okay, whether the companies are being charged. The ads that we saw, are they being charged right now? Well, now what do we have? Okay, we have now, let's look at the first success criteria, which is a click. So what happens here is, in some cases, because it was a CPM campaign, the advertiser was being charged irrespective of whether there is a click or not. So sometimes I may just want to show the ad to someone. I don't actually want them to visit anywhere. I just want, all my content is there on the ad itself. But sometimes I want to take them to a landing page, and there my call to action can be a learn more or contact us, or I want to take him to a landing page where there is a lead form and some offer is there for the consumer. So the consumer is encouraged to click. Now, as soon as he clicks, we have our first conversion ratio, CTR, which is click through rate. What is click through rate? 50 is the number of clicks that I had. 1250 is the number of impressions. I can, okay, in this particular case, 50 divided by 1250, 4% is the CTR. Okay, just remember these terms. These are pretty common terms, and we use them in all our campaigns. And I can measure CTR from the point of view of keeping impressions in the denominator. I can also do reach. So if I take, for example, 50 divided by 1000, I divide it by reach, then I get a CTR of 5%. Both are equally okay valid ways of measuring CTR, and I spent 450 rupees in this campaign in one day. How do I know this? Because I specified this as a budget, and once you specify this, when we see the campaign creation piece a little later in the module, you will look at a place where you can enter the budget that you want to spend. If you enter 450 rupees, that is exactly what will get spent, maybe 10% more here and there. But if you run a campaign for, let's say, 450 rupees for 10 days, exactly 4500 or so is what is get spent. Then the platforms are pretty particular about all that. Now, once you got CTR and you got a cost per click, how did you get the cost per click? 450 rupees is what I spent on let me just start the pointer again. 450 rupees is what I spent in a day, and I got 50 clicks. So 450 divided by 50 is rupees 9. Now what do I have? I have a visitor who has clicked on a call to action, a CTA button, and he has come to the landing page of my site. Now, my objective is that once he comes onto the landing page of my site, I want him to stay on that page. I want him to. So how do I do that? I put a video over there, and if that video is 10 minutes, I can I can measure the number of site visitors who came to that particular page. I can make a more precise criteria by saying anybody who spent more than 3 minutes on that page is a engaged audience. So here what I'm driving at is engagement. Now, what is engagement? Engagement is that I want him to spend time. I want him to take an action. So this is what is called an acquisition. An acquisition or a goal achievement is, let's say I want him to give me his name, his phone number and his email address so that my team can call him later. If I'm running an automobile company dealership, I can get him to my dealership to give him a test drive. Maybe I want to get him to the site if I'm a builder and I want him to have a look at the sample flat. So these are all, okay, for this I need to be able to contact him and set up a meeting. So this is what is called an acquisition. I can give him give him access to a video. I can talk to an influencer, get the influencer to make a video on my company's product and say, okay, you're a, let's say, an automobile owner, you're a bike enthusiast, 5 ways in which you can extend the battery life of your, okay, of your 5-year-old bike. All right, so I can do that campaign as for someone. Now, and then I can get him to sign up for my weekly newsletter where I can, trying to build a community of engaged, like-minded professionals. So let's say 50 people out of 50 clicks, which is 50 people who visited my site, 10 of them have signed up for this blog or this newsletter or filled up a lead form, and that is where I have a lead. And now I have a CPL, which is cost per lead. 450 rupees spent, 10 people submitted their names and phone numbers. I have a lead, 10 leads, 450 divided by 10, 45 rupees is my cost per lead. Now my system, my sales system takes over, contacts these people, gets them to the dealership, gets them to the retail outlet. I try to convert them. Maybe they go back to the, I measure their visits. Maybe I've run a full end-to-end e-commerce site on a Shopify or a Meesho. Five of them go on to purchase about 1,000 rupees of products each. So now I have my third conversion ratio, which is cost of customer acquisition, COCA, or cost per retail. And what is cost per retail? 5 people purchase the product. 450 rupees is what I spend in a day. 450 divided by 5. 90 rupees is my CPR, which is cost per retail or COCA. And okay, what do you have now? The second thing you can measure is return on advertising spend, which is 5 people bought the product. Let's say on an average they spent about 1,000 rupees on the site. 5 into 1,000, that was the business that I did. So what is ROAS? ROAS is Facebook ad revenue divided by Facebook ad spend. So how much revenue did I make? 5,000 rupees. How much did I spend? 450 rupees. 5,000 divided by 450 measured in number of times x, 11x approximately is the ROAS from this particular campaign. All right. Now, the question we are asking ourselves is, what should be the ideal CTR? What should be a CPC? What should be a CPL? What should be COCA? Okay. All right. Now, I assume you've understood all of these questions by now because I've explained them in the past few minutes. But let's look at two different answers on this entire thing. The first one we are talking about is, let us not get into thumb rules to compare ourselves to other industries. Even if it is the same industry we are talking about, your geographical area is different, your product is different. And therefore, the ideal thing to compare in all of these numbers is it an improvement over the previous week or the previous month when you were running these campaigns? That is one. The second point we are talking about is there is an absolute number. So let's say a very popular food ordering app has a COCA of 320 rupees. Now I'll ask you a question. Does it make sense? Is it viable to have a COCA of 320 rupees? Well, you will ask me how many, on an average, if I buy order food on a weekend, how much do I end up spending? Well, 350 rupees. So I'm actually investing 320 rupees to acquire a customer who is spending 350 rupees. That doesn't sound all that great. Okay, so ROAS is not all that great. It's basically 1x. What's the point in, and I'm actually spending a lot of that, that the expenses involved in that 350 rupees, so I'm actually losing money. But to ask a question, um, how many times a month do I order on the food ordering app? So let's say 5 or 6 times, which means my monthly bill is about 2000 rupees. I do this 12 months a year, so 24,000 rupees is my annual revenue. This is what is called customer lifetime value, measured over a year, measured over 3 years, measured over multiple ways. So if I'm earning, I'm billing 24,000 and it costs me 320 bucks to acquire a customer, and maybe in that bill of 24,000 I'm making 20% gross margin, so I'm making 4,800 rupees, and my expense is 320 rupees to acquire one customer. Okay, that's a pretty good deal. All right. So two ways of measuring this. If you are in a business which is repeat, where you are selling again and again to the same customer, multiple transactions every month, customer lifetime value makes better sense. If you're selling one off, you're selling if you're a builder selling a flat, if you are a car company selling a car or a bike to a customer, then return on advertising spend, ROAS, is a better indicator. Okay, thank you.